Hi everyone, Eric at Retro Handheld Guides, and today I'll be taking a look at two new custom firmware options for the Miyoo A30. The Miyoo A30 suffered from poorly configured stock operating system, which caused some performance issues in a number of emulators out of the box. In my last video, I showed you two new operating systems which attempted to fix those issues with BTN and RA30. Since that video, two more operating systems have been added, Spruce and MinUI. In this video, I'll take a quick look at each and talk about the pros and cons of which operating system might be a good fit for you. So, let's take a look at Spruce and MinUI for the Miyoo A30. The first operating system that we're going to talk about today is called Spruce. Now in the last video I showed you BTN and RA30 custom firmware options. Those were both configurations of the stock firmware which would automatically configure all of the emulators for you to have the best settings. Spruce is kind of a natural evolution of both of those in that it combines kind of the best of each of those different options into one package. Here we have a simple designed interface, which I really like. As well, it also encompasses many of the options from both Spruce and BTN in that it automatically does a save and load state when you leave and enter games. As well, it would also still encompass the original Miyoo menu. So when you go into a game, you can see here it loads it up right away. And then when I go to click the menu button, we still have access to the original menus here with access to RetroArch, as well as the save and load states. So here we have kind of a best of both worlds from those previous operating systems that I talk about. So Spruce is a really good option here. I think that it really improves a lot of the issues that were available in the original stock operating system. The other nice thing about the Spruce is that it's easy to set up. As well, it also does have those standalone emulators, so you can get better performance on things like PSP. It has some okay N64 performance, obviously, if you're going to be going for those higher ends. Dreamcast is still pretty poor on this device, which I think is just a limitation of the hardware. Otherwise, I think that Spruce is a great option, certainly one of the best options available for the Miyoo A30 at this time. If you're going to be going with the Miyoo A30, I definitely recommend bringing up Spruce and loading it up to replace the existing stock firmware. So it does contain all of the fixes and issues that we saw in two of those other operating systems, and then adds on to it and makes the whole interface a lot cleaner, simpler to use, more easy to understand. So definitely check out Spruce for your Miyoo A30 if you do end up picking one up. The next custom firmware option that I wanted to talk about is MinUI. Now MinUI is a personal favorite of mine. It is available for many different Linux handhelds, including many that I've featured on this channel before. The TrimUI Smart Pro, the RG35XX line, the RGB30. So it is available for a number of different systems, and this is a very mature custom firmware. One of the key aspects of the MinUI is that it is minimalistic by nature. So that means that you are going to be having a minimum number of options available to you in terms of what you can configure, but that also means it is minimal in terms of what you can play. This MinUI tops out at Sony PlayStation as the highest emulator that it can run. So that means no PSP, no N64, no Dreamcast. But for something like the Miyoo A30, that is probably okay because this device honestly doesn't play most of those systems very well. There are a limited number of games that you'll be able to play from those systems on this device anyway. So as you can see here, the MinUI has a very minimal interface in that you simply have the systems that you can play, and then you select your system, and from there you can go directly into your games. From here you can see you basically only have two options. You can go open, and if you have a save state, you can also auto resume. So when you open a new one, you simply open it and it goes to the beginning, or you can also click the X button and then resume an existing game that you already have in progress. This does also support sleep, or a type of sleep, in that when you turn the device off, it will automatically create a save state, and then when you turn it back on, it will resume exactly where you left off. As you can see, while we're in game, you can access the menu by pressing the function button, and from there we have only a couple of options available to us. We can continue, we can create a save state or load the save state, and then we have a couple of options, but these options are pretty minimal by nature. You can configure some things within each of the different emulators, but these are going to be pre-configured for you to work as best as it can. Otherwise, you can also configure controls, you can see the shortcuts, and that's pretty much it. Right, so from here you'll be able to quickly play the games that you want and jump in and out of the games that you're going to need with MinUI. So this one is a great custom firmware option if you plan on playing only up to PlayStation, as you can quickly jump in and out of games. It also has a very quick boot time, so when you turn the device off and turn it back on again, it only takes maybe 10 to 20 seconds to boot back into a game and pick up exactly where you left off. So I hope you liked this quick look video today at the new custom firmware options available for the Miyoo A30. As this device gets cheaper and as we get more firmware support from the community, I think that this device becomes more attractive. When it initially released, unfortunately, the poor configurations of the stock operating system really held this system back. But for a micro device and at a good price point, with these new firmware options, Spruce and MinUI, I think we can have a much better experience from this particular device. So certainly take a look at the sales that are coming up for the Miyoo A30 and consider loading up one of these firmware options. Spruce is a great option that allows you to play up to the highest ability for this device, including PSP, N64, Dreamcast, though just keep in mind that this device is definitely going to struggle with many of those upper-end systems. And then MinUI really improves and minimizes the experience for this device, making it a lot easier to use, a lot more pick up and play, which I think is kind of where this device is really going to shine. So I hope you liked this video. If you do have anything else you'd like me to take a look at for the Miyoo A30, then please feel free to leave those comments in the section below. Any links to the custom firmware that I have here will also be available in the description. So with that, I hope you have a great rest of your day.